From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I'm Ashley Nurbovig in Helena, and coming up, a look at one of two Supreme Court races on the ballot this November.
I'm Edgar Studio in Bozeman. Watch as Bozeman residents come out to one intersection to see how many people are running red lights.
To help lights change.
Boom!
Was that a red light?
Close.
Hey, it's snowing and not yet. That's the Old Faithful Inn. Snow will be coming to the park. Don't make any mistake about that.
Aren't they closing some roads?
Going to happen.
Going to happen.
Going to happen. We'll talk more about that as we work our way to that. Meantime, that's a live shot in Butte. Community Hospital of Anaconda. It's gorgeous over there right now. It's gorgeous everywhere.
Because of the clouds.
Thank you. That's right. That big blanket that
I've
they
been
throw
paying
out over.
attention this morning.
See, that's it. I appreciate that very much. I paid attention to Matt. That's where I learned it. So.
And Matt has the day off, and so
Right.
I'm lucky enough to be here today with Chet. Always fun.
The lucky one is me. Thank you for being
thanks.
here. It's always a blast to share the desk with you. I wish I could give you better news for your football game tonight, but hey, that's the way it goes. I have to tell you what I know, accuracy and everything. Here's what it looks like outside right now. A few clouds rolling through, and those clouds are going to linger for the next, pretty much 4 or 5 days, and they're going to bring some rain showers turning to snowflakes by the time we get into our weekend. Temperatures right now in the 40s for the most part around southwest Montana, 41 in West Yellowstone, 43 in Ennis, 42 in Dillon. As far as your day goes, it's not going to get much warmer in that, and then you're going to look back on 50s and say, gosh, I missed you. Where are you? Because it's going to change in a hurry for the weekend. Have details of that coming up in a couple minutes.
Thank you, Chet. Yellowstone National Park is warning of winter weather conditions, like you just heard, this weekend that could lead to dangerous road conditions. The park says there's a good chance that over the road over Dunraven Pass between Tower and Canyon will close. The road over Craig Pass between Old Faithful and West Thumb may also close, but the Old Faithful area itself is expected to remain open. Because the road connecting Gardner with Mammoth is still closed, the park says they're working with Montana and Wyoming highway departments to plow the 7-mile section of the highway between Cook City and Pilot Creek Trailhead. That section, also called the Plug, and is normally open to only snowmobiles, but the route will be needed to guarantee access to Cook City's Silvergate until the road to Mammoth reopens. 2 seats on the Montana Supreme Court are up for grabs this year. MTN's senior political reporter Ashley Nurbovig breaks down the race listed first on most ballots between Billings attorney Bill Dalton and incumbent Justice Jim Rice.
The Montana Supreme Court's longest-sitting judge, Justice Jim Rice, is being challenged this election cycle by Billings attorney William D. Alton. Rice is running for his third 8-year term on the court. He was appointed in 2001. Should he be reelected, he could potentially serve until 2030. Rice said his more than 40 years of experience in Montana law, coupled with his more than 2 decades on the Montana Supreme Court, is what he offers to voters considering whether to reelect him.
I think I've established a reputation of providing a fair and impartial application of principle to resolve cases. To have not permitted partisan politics or inappropriate influences to enter into my work.
Rice said he'd like to continue that service, quote, especially in these challenging times, unquote. The former Republican state legislator filed for re-election on January 6th and said he was motivated both by the riots the previous year at the U.S. Capitol, as well as the actions of Montana Republican lawmakers and Republican Attorney General Austin Knudsen, who put the Montana Supreme Court in the political crosshairs during the last legislative session. Rice said both politicians and some members of the public believe the Montana Supreme Court decides cases based on personal preference.
And that's not how we decide cases. We decide many cases and reach a conclusion in a particular case that we're not happy with as a matter of policy or as a matter of preference, but that's not our choice. That's not the basis of our decision. The legislature is free to vote depending on their preferences and what outcome they would like to see. Justices don't have that option.
Rice's opponent, Billings attorney Bill D'Alton, started practicing law in Montana more than 27 years ago. His cases have appeared before the Montana Supreme Court and the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. D'Alton said he filed to run against Rice just to offer other ideas on improving the judiciary, in particular on the issue of transparency. The way the court operates now, the public can witness oral arguments, but D'Alton said he wants to open up the justices' deliberations to the public.
We can do things differently. I mean, especially hot button topics. The public wants to know how they're deciding these things. Why not open up the chambers to the internal debate so the public can see those things?
As a candidate knocking doors, D'Alton said many voters asked him whether he was a Republican or a Democrat, a liberal or a conservative.
What I have to say to people is that, first of all, this is a nonpartisan election. And a lot of people are almost disappointed with that because they want you to be one or the other. They want you to be a Democrat or a Republican. You know, if you say you got to be independent in this, they're like, oh, yeah, right.
If elected, D'Alton said he promises to serve just one term to focus on improving the judicial system and rendering unbiased decisions. In the last fundraising period, D'Alton raised $0 and Rice raised a little more than $4,000. Election day is November 8th. In Helena, Ashley Nurbovig, MTN News.
Following the tragic death of a Bozeman High School teacher who was hit by a vehicle, Bozeman residents are looking into the issue of traffic safety. MTN's Edgar Cedillo was invited as residents monitored several cars running red lights during Thursday's morning rush hour.
Bozeman residents invited city leaders Thursday morning to the intersection of 15th and Oak so they can see firsthand just how many people are running red lights in Bozeman.
The reason we're here today is to observe people running red lights.
Glenn Monahan and two other Bozeman residents watched in awe as a bus ran through the intersection seconds after a light had turned red.
Catch that bus?
Watch again as this bus goes clearly through the intersection at a red light.
I knew that the situation was bad or that the problem was bad, but I was really quite surprised when I actually did a physical count.
At the intersection of Oak Street and 15th Avenue, Monahan stood with pen in hand, watching as driver after driver ran through red lights during the morning rush hour. He was joined by City Commissioner Magic and Deputy Mayor Cunningham.
Red light,
Oh!
2 red lights.
2 through on it. Oh my.
To help lights change.
Boom.
Was that a red light?
Close.
This is not the first time Monahan has been here. On October 13th, he counted 12 cars running a red light in 30 minutes during the morning rush hour, and then in the evening rush hour, he counted 22 cars. According to Bozeman Police, in 2021, they cited 107 drivers for red light violations. As of October 19th, 75 have been cited in 2022.
What we try to prevent are those serious and fatal crashes by reducing speed and conflicts at intersections.
The city's transportation director says the city spends $50,000 on bike and pedestrian safety projects. Now they're looking to increase that.
We propose doubling that to $100,000 a year. That's going to allow us to do more work from a maintenance and expansion perspective.
Monahan says while long-term goals are good, he wants to see more enforcement right away.
I think action needs to be taken immediately.
And you can see more on Edgar's story on our website. Well, for communities of faith, the first line of defense in a mental health battle are often spiritual leaders and prayer. The Department of Health and Human Services recognizes this and offers guidance and tools to church leaders. Amber Strong, with our partners at Newsy, explains the importance of blending beliefs with clinical guidance.
There was rapper Lecrae.
I feel like I can't sleep. My legs, it's like adrenaline pulsating through my body.
And former TV host Sheila Walsh.
So I went from in the morning being co-host of the 700 Club, and by that evening I was in the locked ward of a psychiatric hospital.
Professed Christians openly talking about their mental health struggles.
Mental health doesn't discriminate.
Dr. Nee Addy has been having that conversation for a while.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Addy Hour.
The podcaster, Yale professor, and neuroscientist has made it his mission to show fellow Christians how science, mental health, and faith go hand in hand.
A lot of what we do in our research is trying to understand what happens in the brain during states of anxiety, states of depression. I've heard people say, okay, that really gave me more of a sense for why my loved one was acting this way.
Many Christians are finding ways to marry biblical concepts with things like treatment and therapy.
Scriptures like a bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. God is near to the brokenhearted.
Pastor's kid, Pisa Madi, says she grew up knowing all the right verses until college.
I had my own experiences with anxiety. I had my own experiences with, mild depression.
She turned that experience into a career as a psych professor at a Christian university.
How do we use scripture? How do we use prayer if that's what people want to do?
Psychiatrist Arkandria Owens says she was once told her faith was a liability in psychology. Now she uses biblical concepts as a tool.
Our brains are so cued in to looking at what's wrong in the world because we need to be able to predict how to protect ourselves. And so this spiritual practice of gratitude, really looking for what's good, changes the brain.
All three say they're encouraged to see a greater acceptance of mental health treatment, pointing to the pandemic as well as deaths by suicide among faith leaders as major turning points. According to a Lifeway research study, 26% of Protestant pastors say they are dealing with their own mental health struggles.
Even when you have faith, even when you lean into prayer, even when you're a leader, even when you're doing all the right things, there's something that we're still not exempt from.
Addie says more pastors are opening up about their challenges.
This is someone that I look up to, that as a leader who's saying that they're working through that they're working through it with prayer, but they're also working through it with counseling.
You don't stop believing in God when you need your healing. You don't stop believing in God because you're seeking a specialist. It all can work together.